Hello, viewers. Welcome to Women's Talk, where it is season part, interactive, and transforming. The desire of most parents to have at least one son in the family, thereby influencing the preference towards a particular gender to be born, has impacted many families unimaginably. Welcome once again to Women's Talk, where the season called interactive and transforming. On this episode, we are going to be having a conversation on gender preference in family, the pros and cons. And I have with me in the studio my co-host as we look at this. We have Dr. Femi Samuel. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, viewers. Good evening, everyone.
And we also have Pastor Sheyi Ojeni. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, viewers. Good evening, everyone.
As we dive into the conversation of today, Pastor Sheyi, is it true that most parents have secret preference for particular gender? Is it true that most parents have secret preference for particular gender?
I think so. Around about some other people. I think some people have preference, either as a result of their culture or the societal pressure. But I think so. Some people does have preference for a particular sex.
Okay, sir. So what could be the possible reasons for gender preference?
Just like I said, basically, I think it's more of societal pressure or culture. I'm aware that a part of the country give inheritances to male child. So an average person that come from that area, they want to do everything possible to make sure that they have male child, so that they can take their inheritance and not allow the family to complicate issues for them. Outside that, okay.
You can go on, sir.
Outside that, I also think that maybe long before now, some of the farmers make use of their male children in the farm. Although that can be either ways. Some people also make use of the female children. But the people that make use of their children in the farm have preference for that sex because it's more like a workforce for you. But also on a lighter mode now, I think some other people are also discovering that bride price is also going high. So some people also have preference for women. So that at least if you have 10 of them, and you can get each of their husband to pay you 1 million, you have become a millionaire.
Of course.
So that's also a preference, either jokingly or monetarily. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is Dr. Samuel available there? Okay, he's not. Okay, let's go on. Then we'll say that in some families, probably they have a certain sex. So let's see, how has gender preference affected family size, especially when all the existing children are of the same sex?
Well, if you have a case where all the children are of the same sex, just like I said, it's either way. If you have preference for a particular sex, let's say male, which seems like the most common. If you have 7 female, that could be like multiple sorrow. For people who have particular preference for a sex, if their own sex preference is a male. And what we have seen over time is cases where people naturally does not even want to get to that number, but in search of the particular gender that they so desire, they are forced to continue. And so some people unfortunately become a large family in their quest to have to have a particular gender or a particular sex. So that's why we have people that have 7 girls, no boys. Or if according to them, God decided to have mercy on them, 7 girls, 1 boy. And the other interesting one is some people have 3 girls and the 4th one become a boy, and they said, let's equate it to 3 girls, at least 2 boys. Unfortunately, they have another girl, so it becomes 4 girls and 1 boy. So some just give in at that point in time. I just decided to hold on at that point in time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Samuel?
Yeah, I'm with you.
What is your take on sex selection?
I'm with you.
What is your take on sex selection?
Sex selection happened to be a recent practice because of our preference for some gender in the family. Like sex selection has gone to the point in which some people proposing some theories that having sex on the day of ovulation will increase your chances of having a male gender. Others have said that you sleep in certain ways, do certain things, eat certain food to increase the chances of you having a male child. However, recently, medical sciences had to get to the extent in which someone wants to have a child and they want to determine the sex of that child. So looking at it, some embryologists have been able to say that, okay, this spermatozoa carry a Y chromosome, and if you to fertilize the ovum, it may likely give birth to a male child. Some have even talked about, okay, let's fertilize so many eggs and we do pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. So sex selection has gone to the point in which people now wanted a particular sex, and medical sciences to some extent have been playing God just to be sure that certain sex can be gotten. So sex selection in the medical world is what is achievable. It's what it is practicable. However, outside the medical practice, outside the scientific knowledge, having sex on particular dates or sort may not be correct when you talk about sex determination. All those things are chances, and the chances may be increased, but it's not absolute, and it doesn't give you the fact that you are going to give birth to a child. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I'm going back to Pastor Sheyi. So let's go to the Bible in Numbers 35. The 5 daughters who were the only children of Zelophehad is in the Bible. They pleaded their case and were able to get their inheritance, even by God's instruction, which was contrary to the original law of Israel. So what is your advice on cultural norms that deny female children some rights in the family? Pastor Sheyi?
Yes, I'm also aware that there is a case in court. I don't know whether it's at past high court now, where a particular culture, some of their lawyers are taking them to court to demand that a pronouncement be made with regard to inheritances, because their culture ceded all the inheritance to a male child. And at least the last time I was either reading it in the news, I heard that the case is already in court. In fact, I think it has gotten to the Supreme Court. For Supreme Court to make a pronouncement, a formal pronouncement on the handling and the ceding of the inheritances to the male child in their culture. So I think we're making progress. And I feel that for me, I used to say it and I used to think it jokingly. I'm not sure that if I have only females, I'm not sure I will disturb my wife. And I'm not sure that, well, maybe in my own culture, nothing like that. But I know that in cultures all around, there are still cases where we have inheritances ceded even to the male child. You know, and at the end of the day, you discover that such inheritance are still being ceded into them. And as long as we still have those cultures in practice, people will be desperate to have male child. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So it's as a result of some of those things that it's making some people having attachment to certain gender and creating such preference in a particular gender. So, Dr. Samuel, okay, are you there?
I'm with you.
Okay. What are the possible consequences of sons' preferential treatments?
Possible consequences of
sons' preferential treatment, male children, when they are given preferential treatment in the family.
Thank you very much.
Like,
I've had cases where the sons, they've been given preferential treatment. Like, I'm conversant with the Benin culture, in which the first son inherits all the belongings of the late father. Nothing for the second son, nothing for any other person. In Igbo land too, same. The first son inherits both the asset and liability of the late father. However, all these cultures are not without their demerit. The demerit in which the first son, number one, getting preferential treatment could be attacked, either physically or spiritually, because someone that's going to inherit everything on ground. The other children may not be happy. The other one, if it's a polygamous family, may not be happy with that occurrence. Inheriting the asset and the liability, the debt left by the man, another thing, the burden is still on the first son. So to some extent, it's not always to the favor or to the of the first son. It can also be to the detriment of the boy, because it's inheriting both assets and liability. So all this could generate envy, strife, animosity, and so many other things against him. It could cause a dysfunctional family. People will not be the oneness in the family could actually be lost just because they know that someone is going to get all the inheritance. So preferential treatment to the son has gone a long way in causing family disharmony. I want to paint it to you that most of the time too, studies has also shown that when there is only one son in the family, if care is not taken, the son get extra attention, get extra everything. The son may not be well trained to face the future. In fact, people have said that being the only son is almost tantamount to the son being spoiled, being over pampered, being left alone to do whatever he wants. You know, the nature does not tolerate that. You must pass through one or the other. So what you say, either good or bad, you can go a long way in affecting the son. So even when one has, I know of a family in which the last child, the fifth child, is a boy, and that boy was a tongue in the flesh to every other member of the family. Go into drugs, into any crime you can think of. Just because, as at the time they are giving back to the son, they've loosened their guard in training of children. When a man gets to a certain age, he starts becoming less strict with the children that are coming. So it's not even training the child well. And because being the only son, all the attention, everything the boy could think of, the boy is having there. And at the end, the boy ended up being tongue in the flesh to every member of the family, dragging the name of the family in the mud, jumping from bailing in today to court case tomorrow, which is not good for the family. In fact, the family would have been better off without that boy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Pastor Shane, stay in line with what Dr. Samuel just said. How can gender preferential treatment, number one, affect the preferred gender? And secondly, what is the effect on the self-esteem of the other gender?
How could can you come again with the question?
How can treatment, not being specific, could be either side, affect the preferred gender? How does it affect the gender that is preferred? Then secondly, what is the effect on the self-esteem of the other gender that is not preferred? So we are looking at it from both sides.
Okay, just like Dr. Samuel said, the preferred gender because the preference exposes the preferred gender to envy and jealousy, and that could lead to anything. In fact, it could lead to kidnapping. It could also lead to so many other terrible things. So naturally, what naturally should not be reacted to if it is done in a normal sequence. In a normal setting, you can have a boy and 5 children, and there won't be any issues. But the moment the family starts treating that boy as a preference, then it becomes complications. I don't know whether you're getting or making sense.
Yes, sir.
The other parts that are not being given the same preferential treatment either feel inferior or feel hated. I'm so sure you can differentiate between feeling inferior and feeling hated. By and large, at the end of the day, the reaction most of the time is not always pleasant. we have had cases either in films or real life where people had organized and eventually destroy the one that has preference. So either way, it is still very, very unhealthy for the growth and survival of the people involved.
So now let's look at some families where you have maybe financial constraints. So what is on sacrificing education of a female child in favor of a male child because of the family financial interests?
Like I said, finance is also a major determinant in the kind of preference that some families give. Just like I mentioned, I think in my second reaction, some people have preference because they use them in farm, and that is a source of money. I also jokingly said some has preference because bride price is a lot of money. You know, I'm also aware that long before now, this one is peculiar to a particular profession also, that people who are into theater, they end up marrying many wives because their belief is you can idly get a that will leave his daughter for you to go and be going all around with you to do theater. So if you will not be willing to marry them, then you might not have females to act with you in your theater. So, but by and large, all those things are also economic. You know, it's based on finances, and they just see it like an opportunity to either survive or to make extra money into their pocket. That's it.
Thank you, sir. So, okay, from what we see around us, what has been the effect of the presence of only female children in families?
Going by what we have seen around us, the presence of only female children in the family, maybe now that Dr. Samuel has been able to mention two major tribes in Nigeria that gives preference to a particular sex, those or majority of people who come from that tribe now, it's a big deal, because when they have only females, they are seen more or less like an outcast. You know, I will jokingly mention that I used to have a lady in church. When she had two, the two are females. So when she was pregnant of the third one, anytime I pray and I said, this pregnancy will be a boy, the way she will say, amen, you will know that she's already facing pressure. You know, and so unfortunately, she gave birth to the third one. Well, maybe I would say my prayer did not answer for her. She gave birth to the third one, and it's still a girl. You know, but so the preparedness of females or girls in a particular family almost make other families that have boys more superior than them, and it can be as bad as some of them being an outcast in the entire family. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So is there anything wrong in desiring to have both sex in the family?
Nothing. Nothing, absolutely. Nothing is wrong about it. Is there anything wrong in marrying a woman? Nothing is wrong. Is there anything wrong in staying unmarried? Nothing is wrong. But the only thing that is wrong is the societal interpretation of it, which puts pressure on people. That's the only thing that is wrong. Nothing is wrong in doing the right thing. The Bible talks about creating them male and female. So if you create them male and female, then everybody has a right to male and female. But the Bible did not now say, if I choose to give you only female, you should consider that I had been unfair to you. Or if I choose to have only male, you should consider that I am wicked. No. Nothing is wrong about having the two sexes because God created them male and female. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. So let me give you this hard one. If we kick against gender selection at child's birth, so let's assume that naturally we now have more female children than male children. In the long run, how do we intend to solve the problem of having many unmarried women while we are advocating monogamy?
This question, I wish I'm not the one taking this question. Because this question has been an issue over time. And some sects have used it to advocate for polygamy. Well, I may not have all the facts that I will have used to support my argument, but I'm aware that yes, there are more females around than male, according at least. Maybe I don't have the required available statistics. So, issue of polygamy and insincerity, I feel that it might be an issue. Insincerity, now that at least I know that the Christian religion continue to preach that we should have just only one wife. The good thing is maybe the other religion does not preach that, which so you can marry as many as you can on the condition that you can take care and love them equally, which is also an issue because you cannot love 10 females equally. No, it's not possible. You know, but by and large, I feel that there may be a hard truth to say that if we continue to advocate for one husband, one wife, some people will definitely go without marrying at the end of their life. But the question is also this: must everybody marry? Then does everybody need to marry before they have children? Maybe those are questions that needed to also be answered separately. But according to statistics which you have currently, if every male marry a female, there is no way that we will not have a surplus of females at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Oluwalere, good to have you, sir. We can see our network has not been doing well. Welcome, sir. Mr. Oluwalere.
Good evening. How are you? I think you need to pray for us here for the network to go very smoothly for the past 3-4 weeks.
Move to town.
I should go to town.
Come to town, leave the
Okay.
village.
So, sir, what's your take
You will
on
know
this
this place is the
subject?
center of Lagos later. Just wait and see. Come again.
Pastor Sheyi is having me so very-
I didn't get your question. You know, I've not really been following up.
What's your take
But
on the subject matter of
I,
preference, gender preference in the family? When some family prefer maybe a male or a female child, or they are giving preferential treatment to a male or a female child. What's your take on it?
my take on the I don't know where it started from. Wow. I'm not hearing.
Okay, we can hear you now.
You see what I'm saying?
Hello? I didn't get your question at all. Okay. But I didn't get your question. I didn't hear anything at all.
I'm just throwing it open. I'm throwing it open to you because you are not here when we started. Now, what's your own take? You can pick it from any angle.
And it wasn't like this before. I don't know.
Okay, now we can hear you now. Oh, we lost that connection. You said you understand that end is going to be the center of Lagos. We hope so.
Amen.
So do we have to hang on a little bit and see if we can come up to share his take on it before we round up?
I'm not sure. Maybe we'll just continue.
Okay. So, Pastor Sheyi, what should people take home on this?
Okay. I would have loved that that Dr. Samuel tell us the line between when you write your will and how you must write your will if you are in that society where they give preference to male children. Because I know that the law allows me to write my will and allocate my will based on my own convictions and my own decisions. So if I choose that, if I come from the culture where they give those inheritances to the first male child, and at the end of the day, I wrote my will and I decided to give my will to share it equally among my children, are they going to kill me?
Obviously.
Please, those are questions I would have wanted somebody who is knowledgeable about the culture to be able to diagnose and come up with an answer for me. But my take is that children are inheritances of God. He gives them to whoever he wants, and he spreads the sex whichever way he wants. So there should no any preference. There are women who have done great things all around the world today, and they were giving an analysis during the COVID time, and they discovered that all the countries that are being managed and being ruled by women, their reaction to the pandemic is far better than their male counterparts. We have seen, of course, Lagarde. Lagarde is a woman. The German Chancellor is a woman. You know, how many will I count? And they're doing so well in their space. So the advocacy for preferential treatment for a particular sex, it's fast going out of our culture. And if the Supreme Court will eventually come with a decision and a pronouncement that will favor equal inheritances for male and female, I'm so sure that will permanently lay the issue of sex preferential to the end in our culture. But by and large, my proposition is, please, children should be treated equally, whether they are male, whether they are female. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Oluwalere, thank you for having me.
Unfortunately, I pick a word from there. Unfortunately, I'm a man, but to me, I don't really want to believe in this culture. A culture that we're supposed to have done away with for a long time ago. I don't want to belong to a culture that will tell you if you enter play, you are more of a witchcraft. That's not that development. So, to me, and that is why you see a lot of people who believe in men at the expense of women. They die in poverty, they die in being uncatered for. So this idea of even waiting for the Supreme Court to decide it, me, I don't believe in it. I unfortunately I have three female and one male. Do you want to tell me I will give all my properties to the male and leave the other three? No, it's not possible. So it all depends on everyone. It just depends. I don't believe in any culture that will stifle my intelligence or my imagination. No, it depends on everybody. Let's leave it for those who believe female are nothing. But at the end of the day, when they suffer in silence, they will know it is not a good culture. I think we should outgrow that type of culture and think straight. Like Pastor Seyi said, we discovered that most of those countries that are ruled by women, they are far performing well. We know Margaret Thatcher then. We know the German chancellor that just left there. If you want to tell me if those cultures have not believed in female, that those ones would have risen to that level they are today, they would not have risen to that level. So let's just do away with all these funny cultures and move forward. Maybe that's the little one I will contribute. But further, I didn't hear all the discussion from the beginning. Thank you.
And before you go, sir, so in that line, what is your advice for parents that have preferential treatment towards certain gender? What's your advice for them? How do you encourage them to treat their children?
My advice is for them to read history. My advice is for them to look at women that have made it today. My advice is for them to look at a lot of males that have abandoned their parents, and that at the end of the day, it is those ones that they look down on that are taking care of them. I think if they look at that, they look at stories, they look at history, then they should have grown this idea of believing it's only male. There are many men that have abandoned their parents today. They are not taking care of them. And the women act as if they are men. Most of the homes today, majority of the homes are ruled administered by female. If you have looked down on them, things would not have been the way they are. So my advice is for them to reconsider their stand and move ahead, move forward, irrespective of whether male or female. Just pray that God give you good children. I think that's my own advice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Finally, before we go, Pastor Seyi, what can you tell husbands that put pressure on their wife as a result of preference for certain gender?
I will ask them to that God should forgive them. That's the first thing, because Jesus said, "God forgive them, for they know not what they are doing." But on a more serious note, husband that puts pressure on their wife for a particular gender, I fear for their future, because over time, just like Saluale said, research has also discovered, the social human behavior researchers has discovered that female takes care of their fathers much more than the male. So if they put pressure on their wives because of either their culture or their inheritances and all that, they should consider their future. And if they will but think about the fact that a time is going to come when those children they are maltreating, or their mother that they are maltreating, is going to be in the seat taking decisions for them, then they will have a rethink. But I will only pray and wish that they know the truth and correct it as early as possible. But if they if they refuse to correct that, I will only wish them whatever they see in their future. That's my advice.
Thank you so much, sir. And on this note, we are going to close on today's conversation, and we hope to do this again next week on another interesting conversation. So thank you everyone for being part of this. Don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends. So thank you everyone. Do have a beautiful weekend and good night. Mr. Oluwalere,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, just tell those women to let the truth set them free. Let them know the truth and let the truth set them free. Thank you.
Thank you.
But Pastor Siji, I advise you to move to the town. This is the center of Lagos. With time, you will know.
I hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All those you're lucky, all of you will move down. I give you time. I will invite you.
No problem.
Thank you.